guests, ladies and gentlemen, and other kids. Nope, I'm not going to do breakdancing today. There are several other exchange students who are going to tell you guys about their countries, about where they are from. So please welcome. This is Tanya. She's from Ukraine and she studies at Alma High School. This is Nikita. He's from Ukraine as well and he studies at Arapaho. This is Andrei, the guy from Spain, and he studies at Arapaho. And this is Tanya. She studies at Alma High School and she's from Kazakhstan. And she will start first telling about her country, Kazakhstan, where she's from.
I'm a change student from Kazakhstan and I'm going to present you about my country. Sorry. Russian words? Yes. So, okay, say привет. Привет. It means hi. Hi. And also you can say как ты. It means how are you. Yeah. Which word would you want to know?
Count 1 through 10, please.
1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job. Yep.
Okay, the presentations are over. Just gotta wait for it.
Do you want to know colors? Yeah. Голубой means blue. Oh, okay, I'll start. So, this is my flag, and it represents. So it represents freedom. It's like eagle freedom, and sun is independence. And blue color represents the skies. So it's pronounced like Kazakhstan. Can you say it? Kazakhstan. Right. This is geographical locations. This is where my country is located. It's like below Russia, and it's really close to China. It's the 9th biggest country in the world. Kazakhstan symbols is anthem. Shamrak, it's like round-shaped. Vaingly, it's on the flag and flag. Our money costs tenge, and $1 is 350 tenge. 350. This is so Kazakhstan is very beautiful place because we have a lot of mountains and they located really close to cities. So whenever you go to our capital, you can see like a lot of beautiful landscapes. So this is one of my favorite pictures. It's called Hanchater, and I go there like every summer to have fun with my friends or family. This is some other pictures. Kazakhstan has a lot of different nations, I think as much as in America, but we speak only Russian and Kazakh. Sometimes people speak English too, but it's not as popular as in other countries, I guess. But a lot of kids just prefer knowing English because it's like very popular and international language. This is our president, and he was the only president for the whole time since 1991. Because, as you know, Kazakhstan was the part of Soviet Union, and we had our independence in 1991. Okay, some information about our holidays. We don't have all our holidays as you have in the United States, such as like Halloween or Christmas. We have only New Year, and we have some Catholic holidays and a lot of Muslim because my country is Muslim religion. So we have different holidays, but my most favorite is Independence Day, and it falls on December 16th. It's the large parade as a day, and there's a lot of fireworks. And I didn't know that fireworks in America is illegal. So I was kind of upset that we didn't have it, but I love it. We have like a lot of fireworks as a day. And also we have such game. It's called Cuisine, and we throw like the stones, and like the three people who has three red stones can like shoot fireworks first. Now this is Skeleton Year, and some people can spend months for celebrating this, and it falls on March 23rd. And it's actually Skeleton Year, like Muslim, so people go to mosques and like in the morning, and then we make a lot of food, and in the night we like make the same with New Year, I guess. New Year, of course we have New Year, but I can't tell a lot about New Year because I guess every family celebrates different. So my family, we usually put on a tree like a week before New Year, and then we just make a lot of food and watch some movies together. And Victory Day, it's really big holiday, and so it's our victory against like Germany, so you know, I guess. And a lot of people wake up really early, and then we go to old people who was part of war, and we bring them presents and different things to like, I don't know, remind them that we remember all they've done for us. And we have other holidays such as Father's Day, Valentine's Day, and International Women's Day. This is my classmates. This is how we look at school. We wear uniform. I don't like it. And I'm really glad that we didn't have uniform here. It's so cool. So our uniform based on white top and black bottom. And since this year we have really weird special uniform for my school. It's like blue jacket with round shaped like veiny on it. It says number 4 because my school is like 4th school in the city. And our school is really different. So to begin with uniform and how many like lessons we have. So like in America you have 8 lessons like each day, and they're the same. In my country we have 6 days of school, and each day we have different subjects, and we should take 25 subjects like a year. It's including physics, chemistry, and stuff like other studies and the like. This is how we celebrate New Year in our school, and it's usually like in a gym. We put like big tree and then we just have a party, yes. This is how elementary kids looks like. Okay, some facts about cities in Kazakhstan. I live in small city, I guess, but for my city, is very big. It's like 115,000. So our capital is Almaty, and this is my favorite city. It's called Sultanat. So there's, can you see like the big building is like the presidential house, and the like that gate is the main gate. So in every city we have special gates. When you come in city, you can take pictures. And this is Almaty, and you can see like a lot of mountains. This is my favorite place to go. I guess it's the mall. It says welcome to Almaty. This is wedding gates. It's actually not wedding gates, but people call it wedding gates because on wedding people go there and take pictures. I just didn't know where it come from. But this is like tradition now. This is my city in the night. I don't know. I just didn't find a lot of pictures of my city for a reason. This is so every winter we have Mideo. It's a place like on the top of the mountain, and there's gigantic ice skating place, and it's like my favorite place to go. But I can't ice skate. This is Almaty, and can you see like the big building? And there used to be like the same building, and it's called Twin Towers. This is in a park of Almaty. It's kind of looks like Russian building, where it's like old museum, and it has like different things like for Easter, how you should not shoot, how you can like possibly make your eggs for Easter and stuff. And also there's a lot of cool ice figures in winter. This is how like the progress of our city from 1999 to 2012. And this is masks. This is like Christians have church and Muslim has mosque. So I think in Kazakhstan most people are Muslims, so it's really cool place actually. I've never been there, but it looks so beautiful. And like this is my city. The last building on the picture is my house, and mostly people live in apartments. We don't have like our own houses because it's more comfortable and it's like faster, and you don't have to pay a lot of money for like your own house. And I don't think we have a lot of houses in my city. Well, I think that's all.
Do you guys have any questions to Tanya about Kazakhstan? Oh yeah.
So about food. Food here is really weird for me. It's Mexican and stuff, a lot of meat and bread. And in my home country, I eat a lot of rice. Like I'm Korean, and so I eat a lot of sushi. I guess I eat sushi like every day. It's like my main meal, so it's my favorite. And I actually like, it's called Cuisine, it's Korean soup, like noodles. Yes. Color? Purple. Yes. So it's really a weird question because I honestly don't wear uniform every day because our director checked our classes only on Monday, so I wear uniform only on Monday first period and then I put it away because I feel not comfortable in it, but usually you have really big trouble, so I would recommend to do it. Yes. What did you do to what? For a living, like work? My dad works in a bank. He's like a director of bank, and the mom she has own like shops in the city. Yes.
What kind of subject?
At my school, English. Yes. Okay. So I take languages as Kazakh, Russian, English. We have Russian literature, Kazakh literature, physics, chemistry, algebra, geography, and like all subjects basically, which is normal. And we don't have PE, yeah. We don't have sports like in my country. It's not much. Yes. First day of school. When is it? Oh, so first day of school usually has, it's called linейка. So we like come to school really early. And then we wear our uniform, it's really like required to wear uniform. And then we sing like some anthem, and then it says like, our director says like, I wish you have a great year, and so on and so on. Yes. We have summer break, and unless you're not senior, you have 3 months of summer break, but if you're senior, you have 2 months. Yes. On Latin school, if you study good, you have special like grammar, like.
Okay, guys. One more question, please. Let's listen to that.
Yeah, we have school from Monday to Saturday.
6 days.
Yeah.
Please applause for Tanya. Now let's listen to the presentation of Ukrainian guys, Nikita and Tanya, please.
Hello, so my name is Tanya.
My name is Nikita.
We both came from Ukraine. So, on the, where you can see our Ukrainian flag, it's blue on the top and yellow on the bottom. So the blue color represents blue skies and yellow represents like the field.
So Ukrainian symbols, our national symbols are blue and yellow flag, which you've already seen. The trezub or trident, this is like the national seal of Ukraine. And the national anthem, its name is Ukraine's glory has not yet died, but freedom.
Okay, so now you can see the map of Ukraine, and Nikita will show where he came from, what part of Ukraine he came from.
I come from this city, from this part, it's southeastern part of Ukraine.
And I came from the western part of Ukraine. You're located right over there. The one.
So, geographical position of Ukraine. Ukraine is situated in Europe. You can see it on the map, it borders with Russia. It's like eastern part of Europe. So, yeah.
So, Ukraine is one of the largest countries in Europe, and it is situated in the eastern part, as Nikita already said, and it borders the Black Sea and tiny Azov Sea, which is really, really tiny and not deep at all. Ukraine is the biggest country in Europe, not including Russia.
Ukrainian money is called the hryvnia. You can see pictures of our money on the slide. And $1 is 26 hryvnias.
So, in Ukraine, we have forgotten mountains, and they are considered to be a great jewel of Ukraine. And it's really popular place to people to go on weekend or for holidays. In winter, people like skiing, ice skating, and just have fun with their families or friends.
So, this is the story about our capital because our capital is one of the oldest cities in all Europe. It's like 1500 years already, and it is considered to be established by three legendary brothers, Quixote and their sister Reed, and this is the monument to honor them in our capital.
Okay, so here's some differences between schools in the United States and Ukraine. And the first difference is that in Ukraine, we cannot choose our classes. We have to take, just like in Tanya school, we have to take 25 subjects every year, including physics, math, algebra and geometry, and also chemistry and at least 3 languages. And every day we have different schedules. And we have school from Monday to Friday, so only 5 days. And also in Ukraine, kids have 5-minute breaks, 15-minute breaks, and 20-minute breaks. It depends on lunch.
So, Ukrainian schools are also not focused on sports, so usually all the high-level sports are independent from school, so you go to special club, which is independent from the school. Ukrainian kids have a lot of homework and generally you don't receive grades for your homework, but if you don't do your homework, you'll get in trouble and get an F grade. And yeah, we have a different grading system.
Here's an example of our grading system. So if you have 1 is the lowest grade, like an F, and 12 is the highest grade, like an A.
So, traditional cuisine is considered to be one of the top 20 tastiest cuisines in the world, according to this website. It's extremely nutritious, it's greasy, but it tastes really awesome.
So first, we cannot walk through borscht. It's a soup and it's very, very popular in Ukraine. Its main ingredient is fruit, and it gives the soup the red color. We usually serve it with sour cream. And other ingredients depends on family or just different person, but usually it's potatoes, beans, and meat.
So, Vareniki is another very popular dish in Ukraine. So, they can be with potatoes, meat, cheese, or with cherry, or other fruits inside. It generally depends on the family, what they cook it with. And it's also served with sour cream.
Now I would like to show you some of the most famous and the biggest cities in Ukraine. And one of them, it's my favorite one. I really like to spend time there. It's called Kyiv. And it's a cultural capital of Ukraine. And it's considered to be often called Little Paris. And it's really old. And it's really, really beautiful.
So, yeah, Odessa is another wonderful city of Ukraine. It's a huge port situated on the Black Sea, and it's one of the 5 biggest cities in Ukraine.
And now about Kyiv, it's our capital, and it's really, really beautiful. It's divided into 2 parts by the biggest river in Ukraine. It's called Dnipro. And so we have left side and right side. Kyiv is really, really beautiful. Here is a lot of churches, Orthodox churches. They're really, really colorful, especially inside. It has a lot of paintings, and they're considered to be the most beautiful churches.
So, in Eurovision, it's a very, very big song contest in Europe. This year, it takes place in Ukraine because the previous Eurovision winner was from Ukraine.
Here, and and here you can see the picture of Jamala. She was the winner of last year's Eurovision. It's really a big deal for Ukraine because it's really a popular contest.
So, holidays. Among the most important holidays for Ukrainian people are Christmas, New Year, and Easter.
We have a lot more holidays, but we had limited time, so it's only about the most popular and most celebrated holidays. And first of all, it's New Year. Usually every family celebrates it differently, and it's more like a family holiday, but you also can spend it with your friends. We have fireworks, and usually we put Christmas tree right before New Year because our Christmas is on January 7th. So it was the difference between like Ukrainian New Year and Christmas and U.S. Christmas because my host family, we didn't have Christmas tree for New Year, and it was a surprise for me.
So yeah, another important holiday for Ukrainian people is Christmas. We celebrate at different time because the majority of people in Ukraine are Russian Orthodox, and they have another church calendar, so our Christmas Eve is the 7th of January. And it's pretty much family holiday, and people prepare a traditional meal which consists of 12 dishes.
Christmas is a really fun holiday. It's personally my favorite one, and people like to sing carols, especially in small towns and villages, and kids like to do it too because when they go to their neighbors and relatives, they can receive money for it or just sweets and treats. And also, the really, really famous song, Carol of the Bells, it was the Ukrainian song, but it was arranged by a composer and later adopted as an English carol.
Easter is also a family holiday which includes lots of traditions. The most important traditions is decorated eggs. You can see some of them in the picture. And doing special pastry, which you can see on the left. And saying Christ resurrected to every friend or relative you meet this day.
To celebrate Easter, we usually go to church really, really early. Like for my family, it's about 5 a.m. And we go to church, and after that we have a huge meal. After that, and other famous thing in Ukraine, it's situated in central part of Ukraine. So basically, it was an old railroad, and these trees they formed like an arc, and it's like 30 miles long, and it's called the Love Road. And people often like to take pictures for their wedding here. It's really, really beautiful. And this is one really, really old castle. And there's a lot of legends about this castle that there is the ghost of a woman that was killed by her own husband. And
This is another castle. You can see it's very old, but it's preserved pretty good.
And this is how our Ukrainian clothing looks like. It's more modern way, but it's basically it's red, black, and white colors. But in summer, it can be also blue, yellow, and green colors. And women usually wore long skirts.
carpet treatment. It's a very big deal in Ukraine, and the patterns on these carpets vary from place to place. And if you receive it along with the salt and bread, you're considered to be they show you respect in this way.
Thank you. Yes, I do. Not really. Yes, I do, and I don't like it.
Yeah, we wear the same uniforms as people in Kazakhstan, pretty much.
Ghost? I don't know, I've never seen that ghost. I'm not sure, I've never seen one, so if I see one, I will believe that they exist. Outside of school? Actually, I like to spend time with my friends, just watching movies, and just hang out. Maybe you want to ask Rita about that?
I usually play basketball or video games.
Can you say it again? Oh, get here? By the plane, it's because of my program, it's called class. So I'm an exchange student. And so I live here for school here with them. Her name was Anna, and her husband's name was Mikola. He was really, really jealous. He thought she was cheating on him, but she actually didn't.
Okay, guys, one more. This girl, please.
I don't.
I also don't.
Can I ask you something? Can you, I videotape you and you'll count in Russian. It's for my project. Okay. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Спасибо. Thanks. You're welcome.
All right, I think it's much better. Yep. Okay. Yes. Hello, I am Andrei Mureșan-Radu, and I'm from Spain. I'm going to do a presentation from my country. Little detail here. In Spain, you have two last names, the one from your father, the one from your father, and the one from your mother. So, Mureșan is not my middle name, but I have two last names. Just funny fact. Okay, first of all, I'm gonna situate Spain on the map. Click on me. What? I know it's just. Okay. Spain is on the western part of Europe. You can Spanish, how you count goes like this. Can you repeat after me? Okay. Uno. Dos. Tres. Cuatro. Cinco. Hey, you know it. You said it like that. Hey, you know it. Like it. You know it. Okay. Back to where you were. You know it. Okay. How do you say hello? Hola, that's right. I go for this one. Okay. Spain is on the eastern part of Europe. This is pretty much, and as you have seen there, it's a really small country. It's smaller than Texas. But the thing is, it has such different landscapes because of what I'm showing here. Because of how different the geography is. There are so many mountains, so many valleys, so many different things. And the thing worth mentioning is Spain is a country that it's not only in Europe, but it also has some islands in Africa. Okay, just mention some things. Remember, and I want you to remember that it's a peninsula, so it's surrounded by sea mostly, and all the mountains, you can read, right? All the color, the brown parts are mountains, and the green ones are plains. Okay. And that's what I was mentioning. So in the south, there's like a big desert. That's the picture on top, Murcia. That's the south of Spain, where it's a big desert of this area. Has anyone heard of the movie The Good, the Bad, and the Evil? Okay, it's a really famous Western, one of the biggest ones in this and all that. It was filmed there. It was filmed in Spain. Even though it's a Western, it's supposed to take place in Western United States. On the other hand, north of Spain, it's all mountains. It's everything. It's all wet. It rains every day, and as you can see, the landscape is really different. And this is the region where I live, Castilla. I think it's never mind. Castilla, which is in the middle. It's all plains. It's a dry area. It kind of reminds me of Nebraska when I came here, and it's famous because of its windmills. That's a really interesting characteristic. Yes. Okay. This slide's the same slide. Does anyone know what's the capital of Spain? Say that loud. What's the capital of Spain?
Madrid.
That's right, Madrid. Right there. That's the capital of Spain. Right in the center. Where I live is Valladolid, right here. You live north. Can you see it? Okay. As I said, in the south, there's a lot of, it's really dry. In the north, a lot of mountains. That's where I live. Is that good? Oh, it's the okay, yeah. Okay. And yes, and has anyone heard of Barcelona? Right, that's a really another important city we'll talk about. Okay, a little history of Spain. Spain, one of the most characteristic things in Spain, it has a lot of Muslim influence. And why is that? Does anyone know what continent is down here? Say it out loud. That's right. And you see how this is a really short, it's like 10 miles. That's a 10-mile sail. So in the 700s, what happened is Muslims came to the peninsula and conquered it. And they stayed there for nearly 700 years. Therefore, a lot of their culture has actually stayed in Spain, and we actually have it nowadays. And this is pretty much the history how they started going up. And in Spanish history, there's the famous conquest in which the Christian kingdoms went back and conquered back the peninsula. All right. Where can you see that Muslim influence in Spain? Well, you can see it in the architecture. This is a really famous building in Spain. It's in Córdoba, which is kind of central Spain. When the Muslims were there, they built a mosque. You know what a mosque is, right? It's like the Muslim church. Well, when the Spaniards conquered, to show the superiority of Christianism over Islam, inside that mosque they built a cathedral. That's one of the most important architectural Muslim influences. Not only architecture, also the language. They're in Spanish. Does anyone know what this word means? That's right, water. And I assume you know what this one means. Alcohol, that's right. Well, alcohol comes actually from the Muslim word, how that's pronounced. So, architecture, language, and food. Paella. Paella comes from the Arabic pilaf, which is paella is rice in which you put a lot of seafood and some yellow flour that makes the rice look like this. We'll go over this again later. Now, I'm going to talk about important Spanish cities. One of the things that I want you to keep in mind is that Spain is way older than the United States. So while in the United States, when you show a city, you show like, say New York City, what's the main thing that you think when you think of New York City? Isn't it the skyscrapers? 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 So we don't have that much of a thing. We usually go for ancient architecture. Okay, we're going to start with the main square. In pretty much all Spanish cities, big cities, have a main square that's like this. It's actually square. That's where the word comes from. And a lot of other European countries got the idea from Spain to do things like that. An example is Paris. There are a lot of squares in Paris. All right, now you do know about Central Park in New York? Well, in Madrid, there's the Parque del Retiro, which is pretty much the same. It's a big park that covers a big side of the city, and people go there for recreation purposes. And if I try to keep that parallelism, in New York City, well, what's the name of the museum in New York City? Can anyone remember? I can't remember. This is a really important museum in Spain. Museo del Prado. That's for a bunch of artists. It's an artistic museum. And finally, in Spain, soccer is the #1 sport. And one of the most important teams in Spain is Real Madrid. Does anyone know anything about soccer? That's right. So, what do you know right there about soccer? Well, never mind. Soccer is a big thing, and that's the stadium in Madrid. On the other hand, there's Barcelona. Barcelona that I mentioned before. The big stadium in Barcelona. Real Madrid and Barcelona are the two big giants that are usually trying to win the final in Spain. Barcelona has a lot of modern architecture, and all that modern architecture is due to this guy, Antonio Gaudí. He was an 18th, 19th century architect who designed a lot of what's nowadays Barcelona. You can see this like kind of weird style of architecture where there's so many curves and it's so colorful. That's Antonio Gaudí. It was kind of like, I don't know if you've heard of Van Gogh. He was an artist that at the time wasn't appreciated, only later. And this is probably one of the most important cathedrals in Spain. It's also designed by him. And you can see how this is it's not a conventional cathedral. It's kind of has weird shapes and, well, pretty much is fine. Going on, Valladolid, that's the city where I come from. Again, main square. You can't see it really well here, but it's also square and has the form where it's surrounded by other buildings. How many of you know about Christopher Columbus? Right. Do you know where he was born. Well, some people say it's Spain, others claim the Portuguese claim it's Portugal, the Italian claim it's Italy. But one thing that's known for sure, is that he was sent to America on the behalf of the Spanish kings. And this is where he lived. He lived in my home city. This is his house. That's one of the things that people from Valladolid take pride in. And this is the cathedral in our city. Now, why am I showing you so many cathedrals and things? Back in Europe, back in the Middle Age, when a city wanted to show its power, the way that it did it, it was building the biggest cathedral possible. Because the more money you had, the better of a cathedral you could build, and, well, the more show you could be. Very ahead. Now I'm going to the south. Remember how the Muslims came from the south? Well, that's where they stayed the most, and that's where you can see the most of their influence. This is the most, the most important palace in Spain. It's a Muslim palace. It's called Alhambra. You can see all the Muslim things in the arts, in the water, and one thing that Spain takes from it. In Muslim religion, you cannot sculpt either people or animals, anything, because it's considered to be an idol. Well, for some reason, they did sculpt here lions. This is called the Fountain of the Lions, and it's the only Muslim architecture in which animals are being represented. Now, Spanish traditions. How many of you are familiar with these kind of things? Right? I see some hands here. Okay, so this is like a Spanish. You see the matador, the toreador with a red cape that messes with the bull. Well, some people say this is tradition. Others say it should end animal torture. There's a big issue going on in Spain. The conservatives and the progressists, someone to end, someone to kill it, whatever. It's less random, but this is one of the most famous Spanish things. But I do not want you to mess it up with San Fermin. This is another Spanish tradition that's done in the north, where people dress up in white and red. You can see it here, white and red, and they release some bulls on the streets. People, what they do is just they run by the bulls, but people who are like really crazy, they run in front of them. Every year there are some tourists who get killed doing these things. Well, it's your risk. I don't want to do this. When I get over there, I'm gonna go and run with the bulls. And eventually the bulls, they just come in this square where people try to get as close to them as they can. This isn't animal torture, it's just playing with the bulls. I think it's fine, most people think it's fine, and it's a big attraction in Spain. It's the 7th of July, the north of Spain is full of tourists. Now, another Spanish thing. During Easter, this is like a Catholic, more of a Catholic. During Easter, the different Catholic orders in Spain go out on the streets just like this, and they carry statues, sculptures of religious moments, in the Bible, and they carry them around town. I show this to you because one of the biggest places where this takes place is in Valladolid, in my home city. So this is a very important deal. All these pictures are from Valladolid. And yeah, they dress up like a Ku Klux Klan. It has nothing to do. Now, food. We go back again with food. Remember how I told you that I want you to remember that Spain is a peninsula. It's surrounded by water. And logically, one of the most things that we eat is seafood, fish, and all that. This is a dish. This is paella, which I mentioned has Muslim influence. A lot of seafood, which is mixed up with rice. This is on the east coast. Now on the north coast, we have octopus. Octopus a la gallega, that's what it's called. And again, seafood. This is pretty much where I come from, and it's in the middle of Spain, so they don't have that much seafood. It's pretty much some meat with some legumes. And this is some typical dishes from the south of Spain. Okay, Spain. You see Spain nowadays that it's just this, but back in the days when the conquerors went overseas, it was all of this. And that's the reason why Mexicans, South Americans in general speak Spanish, because the conquerors from Spain went overseas and they conquered South America. And all that was Spanish colonies. These were the two biggest kings in Spanish history, which held that empire. Yes, currently. And the Philippines. They also held the Philippines, and they were discovered under the rule of Felipe II, and that's why they're called Philippines. Now, literature. How many of you have heard of Don Quixote? Alright, this is some hands there. Yes, that's one of the, that's the biggest novel in Spanish literature and one of the biggest in world literature. It's been written by this guy, and it's about a nobleman who goes full and goes mad and thinks he's a knight, and it's about his adventures. It is quite big of a deal for us because you know how in the United States the borders have those, each state has their own borders, you know what I mean? Well, in Europe, we have the euro, which is a currency shared by several countries, and each country gets to put their own thing on the euro side. We put this guy because it's probably our biggest literary accomplishment. Now, from Spain, I take this to me. How did I get here? How did I become exchange? Why do you have a Spaniard talking to you right now? Well, they have a scholarship, I have a different one. Mine was paid by this guy. This guy is the second richest man in the world. He holds a bunch of shops, never mind. And he just offers gives scholarships away. He gives like 500 a year for Spain. You have to take some tests on competing with people from all around Spain, get them, and be the best at it, I guess. What I want to say with this is, I am an exchange student, and so far it's been an awesome experience. It doesn't cost me anything, and any of you can be it. And I so encourage you to do as I did, and just go out there and, I don't know, look for, if you can afford one, just pay for it, but if you don't, I couldn't, there's always someone willing to give you a hand and give you an awesome experience that you can't forget. I'm telling you, America is a completely different thing. And that's what you will think about other countries if you just want to make that step and go outside. And that was pretty much it. No questions?
No, just 3 nice questions from 3 nice people. Please.
Okay, one per row. Back there, the guy in the yellow shirt. Can you speak louder, please? Well, you know, one thing that I really surprised me is how much spirit people have here for the local school, local team, whatever. In Spain, people send their kids to school and don't know anything else about the school. In here, when I see everyone cheering for the Warriors or something like that, I feel that's awesome because it's like a feeling of unity, everyone belonging to the same community. But did I answer your question? Yeah, okay, good. Right there. Yeah. Oh, in Spain, you speak Spanish. Go ahead. Spain identifies itself as yeah, it's right. Go ahead. Can you speak louder, please? I didn't understand. Oh, right. Yeah, that's another thing. So in Spain, you can't get your driver's license until you're 18. So, well, since I live in a big city, I use usually a bus or something. I don't need a ride, but we do have cars. Is that it, Kerwin? Okay, that's about it. I'm sorry.
Thanks a lot. We got a slide now. Thanks to our exchange students for coming and telling about their countries. Thanks for listening. Nice questions?
Dos Vidania.
До свидания. Goodbye.
Wait, you want to know somebody else? Can we take a selfie with you?